Well, that sucks. I really kind of like rooting for him. Yeah. I get it. It probably can feel like a bit of a job. Okay. Urban Control, Curveball Tag, Arm Mason. Don't recognize him. Tony Letta. Okay. Man, Grimer's here at least. Where's it feels like a different grid. Yeah. Okay. So it's an audience voted constructor or team of the day, basically, right? Okay, so we'll do it officially then, and then maybe we tease it early. Okay. Is it the same format in the beginning? It's a quick teaser entry and then the introductions. Okay. And then the videos, you're doing an intro for Coda? Okay. And what else? Man, I feel a little rust. Oh, they're readying up too. Are we ready? All right. All right, let's go. Hello, race fans. Dresden here, and welcome to Wednesday night with CCRL, the Cheek Clappers. It's season 4, and we're in Coda tonight. We've got a sprint and a full and short qualifying on board. So hey, stick around, and we'll get right to the action. See you there.
We love the sport for the competition because we need it always. The pit in your stomach as the lights go out. The hair on your neck rises as the engine roars to life.
Because I like this one.
We're transported to a place, overcome by the moment, guided by the past and bound to the future.
They're still fighting back. Still holding on to that place. Test the switch back.
It's not over yet.
Primer! Heading towards victory!
This is Formula 1, and this is CCRL.
Hello, race fans, and welcome back. We are in Coda this evening for what promises to be an action-packed night with CCRL. We've got a lot to do. We've got new faces to learn. We've got a new grid to kind of get used to, and I'm excited to do it here. Season 4 with CCRL. With me in the commentary box, as always, is Trackside. How are you tonight, buddy?
Yo, what's up, everybody? Excited to be here. It's a home track for quite a few racers tonight. Merck's won, Angry Walrus, some guys who have put in probably a lot of laps around this track. And I think Austin's it always provides good racing, so I'm excited.
I know I've said this, I really like Coda, just as a racetrack in general. I think it kind of brings a little bit of everything, and provides. I mean, the passes can tend to be pretty standard. Everybody kind of waiting between 11 and 12, but sometimes you get some interesting moments. Maybe around 15, 16, that really long right-hander, and dangerous through 19. So Coda's just a lot of fun to watch, a lot of moments, I think.
Well, we're getting ready to head into qualifying here. We'll jump right in, Drez.
Yeah, I was going to say, we've got a lot of new names on the grid today. I was looking through Yarrow, I'm not too familiar with. Tony Lenta is new for me as well. Who else? R. Mason Sim, completely new, and Knick-Knack Paddywhack, a name I recognize from the leaderboards from the first race, also new for me. Did you get a chance to watch? You watched the first season. First of all, I want to apologize to CCRL. I missed the first race of season 4, and I feel terrible about it. But I just sort of checked out and didn't check back in with Discord early enough. But I saw Knick-Knack. He was like in third, I thought, or fourth, maybe somewhere up high. Did you get to watch him race last time?
Yep. Yeah, we were in Silverstone last week. It was a good race. Yeah. Not quite as action packed as a season ago, if you remember that. I mean, that Reimer came out with a bang that race, and it was just action packed the whole race. We didn't get quite the treat as that, but it was still a good race. Lots of action. There was a lot of strategy build up there towards the end of the race as well. Yeah, some new guys with pace though. Knick-Knack Paddywhack, he was on the podium, and I think I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, so the podium was Johnny Damon, Jarro, and Knick-Knack Paddywhack. So the Alfa Romeo team gonna be tough to beat this season, I think.
Yeah, we know Johnny Damon's quick, and I guess Knick-Knack is going to bring some pace as well. So it'll be interesting to get to know his driving style, see what he's like. But you're right, Alfa Romeo is suddenly going to be firing on all cylinders. It looks like they're going to be a tough team to beat. Currently on top of the standings, too, I believe.
Yeah, their double podium finish last week really propelled them and gave them a jump start. But as we saw last season, the teams that really got an early start weren't maybe the teams to beat towards the end of the season. So we'll see our ebbs and flows.
Yeah, season, man. If that's the word for season 3, ebbs and flows. It was a lot of like. It was you could have made very different predictions at very many points throughout the season, right? At the beginning of the season, we had our whole ideas based on what happened in season 2, and all of that was out the window after like 3 or 4 races, and then the midfield was, we were talking about Reimer a lot, or the middle of the season, and then at the end it was all Walrus. Right, all Walrus all the time.
Oh yeah, I mean halfway through the season, he found something that just the other guys did not. And we saw him last week. He's one of the guys who's running no line this season. There's about 8 of them who have taken all the assists completely off, and he's one of them. And we saw, a little bit of that kind of, I think, maybe little just insecurity that we didn't see last season.
I kind of secretly, because because I want to root for those guys just a smidge more. You know, like if they finish third with no line on, I want to like notice that a little bit
So
because it's an accomplishment.
So here's the list: Angry Walrus, no line; Johnny Damon, Knick Knack, Bong It, Reimer, and Guzman. So, and then I don't think Guzman's got the next few weeks off. He's busy at work, but yeah, that's your guys running with no line.
I miss Guzman, and we were talking about this before the race. Z-Milk taking at least a season off. That
Yeah.
it came as an upsetting news. I didn't want to hear that. Yeah, but
You got to do what you got to do for for what's right for you.
I know.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. You're right. I mean, people have lives outside of entertaining me. And looking very quick in Silverstone, right? Winning a sprint or something it looked like, and then taking home some pretty big points.
Yep, he was right at the top. I think on pole even to start the race.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the pace was there for sure. Ran a little bit different tire strategy, I think, if I remember right. But yeah, he was up there.
Oh, let me jump in here. Owa is having some trouble with the Red Bull. There he's moving again. But for a second there, the back tires had dug himself a hole and was unable to get that car moving.
Yeah, the curbs here, if you get washed up on them just right, you're beached. So
yeah, it was looking a little beached there for a second, but manages out of it. So we got 10 minutes left here in Q1. It's Walrus with a pretty substantial lead. That feels very much like the end of season 3 there. 33.7. Curveball has a 34.1. Anyote in the Red Bull is looking quick tonight, a 34.8. He's alongside John the Prince with a 34.8. Owa is a 35.2. Urban is 35.4. So we're kind of falling back from there. No times from Damon or Knick Knack. They're both on an outlap. I'm actually going to jump on board with Knick Knack. I kind of just want to see him race a little bit.
yeah, Johnny Damon and Knick Knack both on their outlaps. Johnny Damon about to start his, so we'll get his time, but we're right around with Knick Knack. Knick Knack was a guy who came in mid-season Pro Tier last year. He got we did the Pro Tier promotion event here just 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he was one of the guys who got promoted through to the Elite Tier for this season.
So man, he must have been really kicking butt and taking names over in Pro Tier then, to come through mid-season and still make the promotion.
Yeah, so it was a little bit different this season because we didn't do a promotion based on points at the end of Pro Tier. We did an actual event. So these guys got out, they did a qualifying run on like 3 or 4 different tracks, and fastest times got pushed through to the Elite Tier. So a little bit different, but I think still gave us the opportunity to feel out how they were going to perform in the Elite Tier.
Well, that might, given and Knick Knack starting his run now, but given how many spots have opened up in Elite, just a little hitchy around turn 1 there. I think he had to let it out to correct. That may have cost him just a bit. But feeling really solid through the S's. Feeling very solid through the S's, actually.
He does have pace.
No time. Johnny Damon setting fastest lap, taking over from Walrus by just
barely,
just the skin of his teeth right there. Traffic moving out of the way nicely for Knick Knack as he comes into turn 12. flips the apex. Man uses every inch of the exit through 12 and setting a purple sector there. Knick-Knack looking to charge into first place, coming around turn 13, now heading into the long right and into the danger zone of 19. Nicely apex there. Man, again, every inch of the exit being utilized. And a solid final turn takes. That was a good lap, and I think may have a couple tenths in hand too, because I thought
on his teammate.
A second. Alfa Romeo bringing dominance this evening, voting for constructor of the evening. So if you're watching and you see a team that you think is doing a 33-2, man, and he could have squeezed.
Watching along, he's in the chat. Agreed. You think if he's got you thinking, SP.
Right. There's only one Alpine on the field. Yeah. All right. And Hip had grabbing points too, out of the first. Right? Am I right about that? I think I am.
Yep.
Hip took points out of the first.
Yeah, we'll take a look. We'll just take a look real quick at driver standings while we're kind of waiting for the last part of qualifying here. But yeah, Johnny Damon coming away with 37 points. Now remember, Drez, we got the new point scoring system this season. So 10 extra points on the top end, and then the bottom 10 guys all taking points home as well. Urban scoring points, 22 points. Walrus in 5th with 21. Curveball, 18. And then, Owa, 8 points in 12th. And then Hemphead down in 14th. He's got 6 points. He's the last point scorer currently on the standings chart. So, yeah.
So the new point system rewarding attendance a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
A little bit more.
And it's rewarding fighting up and down the grid for more than just the top 10 positions, too. Mm-hmm. Every position counts.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. So, new names on the board. Knick-Knack, 33-2, very fast. A contender for sure. R. Mason, solidly midfield, 34-7. Tony Linta, 35-7. And Yarrow, 36-3. A bit out of the fight at the moment. And no time on the board from DRL yet, so we're looking for some time from him. I think he's fairly quick.
Look at Anyote up in 6th.
Let's go Red Bull. A 35-5, tied with Urban right now.
Yeah, not much
and
between
just
those
ever
two.
So slightly faster. Yeah, just ever so slightly faster than
YouTubeville, wherever you're viewing from tonight. So the 2 Red Bull drivers and 2 Alpha Tauri drivers have a season-to-season a bet. Is that what you'd call it, Dresden? I think a bet.
I think it is. Yeah.
So whichever team finishes higher. So we saw a shakeup this season, and then Pontiac and Curveball taking the Alpha Tauri sister team. So kind of a cool little side quest going on there for those guys.
I think fairly evenly matched.
Yeah.
Or have been the past couple seasons. So, but yeah, I'm gonna say upper midfield. That's pretty decent.
I'm on board with Merck now. He's just started his flyer in the Ferrari. We'll see what he can do. Definitely a guy I can see being in the top 5.
Do you happen to have a list of the pro tier promotions?
I do. So I know Jaro and Knick-Knack were 2 of those promotions. Merck was one of those promotions. And then R. Manson was the last promotion. He was actually done after the event because we had a dropout. But yeah, those three guys. I think there was only 5 guys in the event, but those 3 took the cake and are now up in the elite tier.
So Coleman not making it, huh?
Copa, he opted to stay in the pro tier.
Okay.
I think he enjoyed our lovely battles a little bit too much.
Well, we've got our final spate of outlaps with Knick-Knack looking. Is he hot right now?
There we go. Merck just crossed the line. He's jumped up into the 5th position with a 1:34.4.
Time runs out, and Manson, Owa, Yarrow, Hemphead, Reimer all finished. Reimer seemingly way out of place here in qualifying. Knick-Knack is hot. Curveball putting in a very good time at the moment of 33.6. Let's find out who's going to cross the line next here. Eliminated lap from Bonget. He's out. Next across the line is a Mercedes. It's going to be Urban.
He's up a little bit. He's got some time to find.
Yeah, Curveball putting in a banger lap right there at the end.
Yeah.
Can Urban improve? After him will be John the Prince. Urban does improve. I think it's John the Prince across the line next, and currently in 10th place, 34.8, very wide at the end. Does improve, doesn't get eliminated. It's a 34.6 and into 9th. There's an improvement from Agnote. Now 33.9 and into 5th place. Knick-Knack improves his pole position by a couple of tenths, a 33.0. For the Alfa Romeo. Johnny's done. He'll take 3rd row. Walrus is still hot. Can he grab pole?
Oh, I don't know. He's up big time. He's not going to make it across the line in time for another lap.
Oh, yeah, it's a 48.8. He's done. It must have had some kind of spin. That's 17 seconds out of the race. And that will wrap it up. Oh, man, I was hoping Walrus was going to come through right there at the end.
Well, it's a sprint.
Look who's very, very quick. Curveball sticks in a really good lap right at the end, but even though it's quick, it's still 6/10 behind Knick-Knack.
Yeah, Knick-Knack's quick. That's probably not inspiring a lot of confidence in the drivers behind. That they've got pace to catch up. But one thing I will say is Knick-Knack driving style, and I can't remember if I mentioned this before, but kind of reminds me of NLC a little bit, that driving style. You know, we saw him be very quick in qualifying, but race pace and inter traffic battling can be maybe a weak spot. So we'll see.
A little more conservative.
Yeah. Yep. So we'll see how that plays out in the sprint and the Grand Prix.
Well, sprint is coming up right now, and Knick-Knack, man, has got a big advantage. Will start on the front row, but Curveball, Johnny Damon, and Walrus are just within 1/10 of each other. So the battle for second place could get quite intense. Agnote, Pontiac, Urban, they're all right around each other, and then we fall back a little bit from Merck on down. But, man, the podium battle looks fierce, and upper midfield looks very intense as well.
Yeah, very impressed with Agnote's qualifying 5th, was it?
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's got maybe an affinity for Austin. He's, I know he just went to the Grand Prix there a few weeks ago. Something tells me he's near that area. This is probably his home race. I would say, and he's maybe this is one that he practices time and time again, just because it's near and dear to his heart.
Well, it's definitely a fun track to drive, I think.
I hate it. I hate it. I love every bit. I love every part of this track except turns 2, 3, 4, and 5. I just hate that Maggot Beckett's complex. I hate it in Silverstone. I hate it here. I'm not a fan. It's cool to watch the cars go through there, but it's impossible to drive for me.
Oh, it's beautiful to watch the cars go through. They really look like hunting animals.
Yeah.
Right? When they take those corners, they look so gorgeous. But no, like once you get it down, right? And especially when you nail an entire section, because it's really hard to put, like, you can get 95% most of the time, right? But to nail the whole thing and then to feel it when you nail it, no, it's beautiful. So we're gonna have.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think we're gonna have some pretty decent action. Those times, behind Nick Nack, you have to bet Nick Nack's gonna run away with it, at least given that qualifying time. But just behind him, very, very close. Those top three, and then the midfield looks very, very tight as well.
Yeah.
And we'll get to see some favorites. Like, I'm hoping to see Pontiac, Pontiac, Owa, Agnote, Urban, all like mixing it up right in there. I think that would be a lot of fun to watch.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be good to see those guys mixing it up there for a top 5 finish, in the sprint.
Yeah. Man, it's been a while. I feel like I mentioned this already. I feel terrible. I just didn't check in with the Discord.
I'm glad. I'm glad you feel terrible.
You sent me a text message, and I thought it was I didn't read it hard enough. I thought it was about Pro Tier, and I was like, oh no, I'm still taking a break. And I don't know, I just didn't expect it to start up so early.
Well, it was like I kept sending you Discord messages, and I'm like, man, he's up in Maine. They just had all that drama up there. I'm like, I hope to God Dresden's alive. I'm like, so I texted you. I'm like, man, I hope this guy's okay.
I honestly, like, because you want to be there for the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
And I feel terrible about that. But yeah, Coda's a great race, and I haven't watched a good race in a while. So fingers crossed tonight. I want to see something, a banger. I'm ready for a banger.
Yeah, I know. I was ready for Silverstone after we got so spoiled last season with the Silverstone race.
Oh yeah,
it was so good.
There was a couple really good races last week.
There was a lot of not so good ones thanks to Walrus, but there was some good ones. We should have a formation lap.
Oh, I'm glad formation's back.
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah.
All right. So, Alfa Romeo looks extremely strong. AlphaTauri not looking bad either. They're 2nd and 6th. Curveball. They're 2nd and 6th. Aston Martin represented by Walrus and Ransom. Is it R. Mason? How are we pronouncing it?
Manson, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, R. Manson, like the guy who bit the head off the bird.
Okay, we'll go Manson. Manson and Walrus in the Aston Martin. And then where's the other Red Bull? So Owa's down in 12th. So top 5 teams, or the top, So the Alfa Romeo and AlphaTauri looking very, very strong this evening. 1st and 3rd for Alfa Romeo, 2nd and 6th for AlphaTauri. And then top five rounded out with Aston Martin and Red Bull. I'm ready to see Agnote like regularly on the podium. I think that would be.
It's overdue.
Yeah, well, we've watched him. I mean, he's there every week, week in and week out. Some weeks has a great week, but I don't know.
He's poised for success tonight, I think. Starting in fifth, he's going to be on the inside going into turn one. If there's any kind of drama ahead of him, it could be a sprint win for Agnote tonight.
Yeah, and so, but it's McLaren, John the Prince, and Tony Linta, and Ferrari, John the Prince, Bongett. We're used to seeing at least one or two McLarens up in the front, one or two Ferraris up in front. That's big. That's a bit different this season. And Reimer feels way out of place, doesn't he?
15th.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
all right. Well, we'll be watching for Reimer to come through the field. It is the second race of season 4. CCRL does take their final places here on the grid, and we are ready for action this evening. One sprint followed by 150% race. I'm on board with the Walrus. It's 1, 2, 3. Here we go, and we're away very quick. All four seem very even, looking clean in the back. Walrus takes an inside dive, will take places away, and it's Curveball getting bounced around a bit, falling back as Damon and Walrus both find their way through around turn 1.
Johnny Damon taking that outside line all the way around turn 1, just really propelled himself past.
Walrus very aggressive dive down the inside and finds 2 places. He's now the meat in an Alfa Romeo sandwich knick-knack, trying to get away. 1.2 seconds ahead here on lap 1. Walrus has got Johnny Damon behind. Curveball is also keeping up, even though he lost those places off the start. Agnote still where he was, still in 5th place. Urban up 1 ahead of Pontiac, though. Pontiac looking to send a dive here into 12th place. Their wheels come together. Fighting back is Urban, shoves the Pontiac Bandit in the AlphaTauri back a little bit. Urban holds on to the place there.
Interesting tire strategy here for the field. Most everyone on mediums except for 2 people. Armanson on the softs and Angry Walrus on the hards.
Hards is a very interesting choice, actually. And man, did he make it work, though, because off the line, he made 2 places off the line on the hards. So must have had an amazing start. And really just a ballsy dive down the inside line there made it work. But he made the apex, so kudos. We've got a pretty tight cluster from Urban all the way back down to 14th place. Let's go, though. Let's check out the fight between Damon, Curveball, and Walrus. Walrus on hards and does have a penalty, does Walrus? You seen this?
Yeah, I see that. 3 seconds?
Yeah, it looks like 3 seconds. I saw him clip I think through the S's. He probably got his first warning on the one I watched.
Yikes.
But that 3 seconds is going to be very costly here in a 10-lap sprint. I don't think we're going to get a lot of field spread.
Yeah, and hopefully there's no safety cars either, because that will do even that'll really kill him.
Really will. All right, so Damon has the softer compound and is very much stuck to the back end of Walrus here. Lap 2, it is Curveball just slipping away ever so slightly in the race. Has his hands full with Agnote and Urban behind. going to watch from Agnote for a bit.
We should get DRS this lap, so we'll see if anybody's going to be able to make some moves. The grid's still pretty tightly packed, so...
Yeah, you got to think Damon on softer tires is going to be able to make a move on Walrus sooner rather than later. But yeah, we haven't lost much. Yeah, we're DRS chained pretty much all the way down the field, looks like.
Just got a helicopter shot riding on board with John the Prince here through those turns 2, 3, 4, 5. What an amazing job these guys do, just going left to right, left to right. Oh, and John the Prince losing it out of, what would that be, 5, 6?
Or yeah, and no, and a little later than that, it's 8.
8, yeah.
Yeah, 8 or 9, somewhere in there. But yeah, the back end just let go and costing Jay Prince all the way to the back of the field. We had a big lockup there from Agnote heading into 12. He's really pushing hard here to catch up to Curveball.
Reimer making his way past Olaf for 13th place. Got past him and threw the anchors out going into turn 12 there.
You see him chucking. You see him chucking the anchor. Yeah, you see, if you're going to make that late pass at a 12, you are really hard on the brakes to make it stick, right?
Hey, Komakopa in the chat. Thanks, buddy. It's good to see you.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine that he stayed in Pro Tier, I guess. It's fine.
You would have rather seen him in the Elite Tier?
I was ready for it.
Yeah.
I was ready for it. Be official. All right, so Johnny Damon slipping back from Walrus. That's impressive from Walrus. You know, and we're down a bit of information here because Walrus's final qualifying lap ruined somewhere, so we didn't get a real final bead on his time. And here he is, lap 4 of 10, building a gap over Johnny Damon on softer compound.
Yeah, he's used up his battery, though. I can see that car is harvesting down the straight, so he's probably used that tactfully to get as far out ahead as he can, hoping that those hard tires will outlast those mediums. But on a 10-lap race, I don't know that the delta is going to be too much of a difference here.
Yeah. He has broken DRS, and if Johnny Damon gets his hands full with Curveball here, who is hunting, Johnny Damon might end up with his attention elsewhere and letting Walrus just slip away. But the other side of this coin is that Walrus got that 3-second anchor around his neck,
yeah,
and has 2 people enough to kick him off the podium currently.
Oh, Bandit around the outside of turn 1 on Merck. They come together. Pontiac maybe taking that line a little too soon, but man, it looked like the move was on until it wasn't.
Yeah, Merck now still losing places, has not got the car back underneath him. Ferrari falls I think 4 full places after that incident. Okay, where is the next battle? Himphead on R. Mason with DRL behind.
DRL, that was another guy that got a Elite Tier promotion this year.
Yeah, and solidly midfield, right? DRL's a decent racer.
Yeah, yep, he's got pace.
Okay. Damon still in contact with Walrus, 0.7 behind. Got a little field spread behind. I'm on board with Himphead right now, watching him face Manson. I apologize. I'm going to try to get those names right, the new ones. Oh, a big DNF. Agnote is out. We've got a here on lap 5.
Oh.
Where is Agnote? He's bend it somewhere. Must have.
The hometown hero.
Well.
Oh man, I had all my Had all my eggs in that basket for this sprint race.
No, well, we commentator cursed him
We
on
did.
Yote. We apologize. We were sitting there gabbing about him doing so well. Of
Yeah.
course.
Oh,
Of course he's gonna.
man.
Poor Hemphead. I was on board. The safety car came out, and I think he was maybe focused on getting the pass done. And as Manson let off the gas, Hemphead, I think, contacted the back of him and may have earned himself a bit of a penalty there.
So Reimer's going to go for the Overtake Hero Award tonight. He's dropped into the pits, thrown on the softs. Yep. So we'll see once this thing gets going again if he's got any magic in that car.
Oh, I see. Yeah, one stop. Jay Prince doing it as well. He's already at the back of the field.
Yeah.
Yeah, Reimer. I don't remember him having trouble at Coda. I think that would have stood out to me. Surprising for him to be so far outside the points.
Yeah, it's
or at least so far out of the top 10.
But that I think really that's not a reflection on Reimer. I think that's more a reflection on how the grid's progressed and how tight the competition is, especially when you look at everything below the top 4 or 5. All those guys real close in qualifying and race pace. They're all within. Before the safety car, all within a second and a half of each other.
Yeah. Poor Onion, say we cursed him.
Jeez.
We cursed him. We take full responsibility for that.
Oh, poor guy. No one's more disappointed in him than him, I'm sure. It sucks when you practiced all week, you're ready to go, and then
And plus, your adrenaline's just so pumping, and you want these fights so bad.
Yep.
But luckily, it's here in the sprint, right? So we still got a 50%, but he'll be fighting from the back of the grid. Costly.
Ugh. Man, dude, I've got a monster here I'm chewing on to kind of keep me awake, but I'm not gonna lie, I had a couple of beverages before I got on here. I got uppers and downers going in my system right now, and I don't know what to do.
That's a bad mix. I told you. You said we're having little problems, right? Yeah. So I didn't wait for you to get back to me. I just poured the nightcap anyways.
Oh, good for you.
It's like, all right. Look, 2 fingers of whiskey, right? It's apparently good for you as long as that's all you have.
Yep.
That's what I hear.
Yeah, if you can keep it to 2 fingers.
Yeah. Yeah, most nights.
Most nights.
So 7 laps remain. Walrus is getting rather boned by this safety car, right? That just like you called, right? He's hoping for no safety car. Boom, there's a safety car. And I don't think he's going to be able to shake, especially on hards. I don't see him shaking Johnny, Curve, and Urban, and Pontiac too. I think Walrus may lose 4 places, 3 or 4 places.
We'll see. I don't know what's worse right now, being on old mediums or cold hards.
Yeah. I know I'd rather be on the mediums. I think cold hard with really strong drivers behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll get 1 lap with DRS though. That's in his favor. All right, and we are away. Nick Nack is taking off, and let's get on board with Johnny because you've got to think he's got the best chance here to make something big happen.
Knick-Knack took off pretty
Bandit.
early, but Walrus is able to kind of maintain that gap here. Owa falling down the field.
Must have been a spin there.
Curveball, DNF.
Ooh, what have we lost it around the S's there? Big AlphaTauri's night, man. A bit rough, especially given Curveball's great performance there in qualifying. He's going to be upset about that.
Oh, now Hemphead. All these guys on cold medium tires just having an awful go at it here on the restart.
Yeah.
Reimer's made up 6 positions already on this restart. Oh, another one with Bong It now. This is crazy.
They're dropping like flies currently. Reimer is just up into ninth. The soft strategy paying big dividends right now. He's got Tony Linta and DRL just ahead of him. Johnny Damon definitely keeping in contact with Walrus. Urban is as well. They're both still inside that 3-second gap. And I'm on board with Reimer. Reimer's picked up a penalty.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's gonna stab his great soft in the heart right now.
Man, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, but he does make another place as Linta goes wide around turn 1. Reimer slips through into 8th. Now looking at the back of DRL. So Walrus does pull away far enough from Urban. So Walrus still holding on to a podium, but cannot shake Johnny Damon. And meanwhile, let's go up and give Knick-Knack some due. He's led every lap, 6/10 ahead on pole, and has looked fairly solid here in Coda.
Yeah, yep, just had maintained control from the start.
Yeah. Yeah, and the safety car might have put him under the gun a little bit, but weathered that just fine. Looks very solid here on the penultimate lap through turn 19. Still using every part of the track.
Reimer still making up positions now. He's up to 7th. And John the Prince a DNF now.
Yeah, another. They're dropping like flies.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Reimer, the overtake hero, just like you said.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know if the guys are just getting out of his way. They see him coming or what, but man, these last couple laps have been a slaughtering.
That's slaughtering. For Mercedes, weathering the storm really well given where they started. Now 4th and 7th, rather than I thought it was 6th and 15th, right before at the beginning.
Well, keep an eye on the Mercedes now because they're going to be under attack. Pontiac Bandit getting DRS on Urban now here at the last lap. They're headed down into turn 12. Looks to the outside and it's going to get passed on well before they get to 12.
Pontiac Bandit getting the job done for AlphaTauri and pulling into 4th place. So let's go up. It's going to be Knick-Knack across the line here very shortly for the sprint victory. You have to think he has not shaken Walrus, who's on those hards, has really kind of just paced him the whole way through. So it's Knick-Knack across the line. Walrus comes across in 2nd, but due to the penalty, it'll be Johnny Damon taking 2nd, Walrus 3rd. Pontiac manages to grab 4th on the final lap away from Urban, who had a good race. fifth for the Mercedes driver Manson, looking solid in sixth. Reimer had a very interesting race. Softs on after the safety car, and from like 15th all the way to 7th in the space of 3 laps. Reimer will probably want to cut that video up and put it on TikTok.
Oh yeah.
Merck in the Ferrari grabs 8th. Tony Linta for McLaren grabs 9th, and DRL Alpine missing his partner SP.
Oh, I bet he is. Yeah. Yeah. Where is Feeney at tonight?
Feeney. Wait, yeah. Who?
DRL must. DRL. Maybe it's DRL. I think he is in that Alpine seat with Feeney. But where's Feeney at tonight? I wonder.
Yeah. Forgot all about Feeney.
How could you forget Feeney?
Because it's 20 names. And you gotta memorize what cars they're in too. It's not easy to do.
I know. I run out of fingers and toes while I'm counting some of these.
So Nick Nack Damon Alfa Romeo looking like the team to beat at the moment. 1 and 2 from the sprint. Aston Martin represented well this evening. Walrus Ransom grabbing 3rd and 6th. AlphaTauri did very nicely, at least until Curveball had his accident. Pontiac does grab 4th. Mercedes doing well, is doing great as well. Urban holding on to 5th, looking solid through qualifying and the sprint. And Reimer having a little trouble during qualifying, but making up for it with an exciting finish here in the sprint race.
Man, so I'm not sure if it's a DNF, are they still going to be awarded points on their position? I don't know. I don't know how that works.
I don't know. I don't know about the new point. We'll have to look at that for the point system.
Yeah, I'm curious. If you're in the chat and you know the rules, let us know. Because we don't. We're just here talking about what we see.
Yeah, but DNF means they're going to have their work cut out for them here in the 50%er.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, they sure are.
Decent little sprint. A decent little sprint, but the betting money has got to be on Nick Nack for the win.
Yeah,
you have to think. Yeah, it looked very, very solid.
And that's funny because last week I would have thought, I think Johnny Damon definitely looked like the stronger of the two Alpha drivers, and so that's kind of reversed this week.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Silverstone and Coda, they have some similarities, but I think very different.
I don't know. If there was 2 tracks that were the most similar on the calendar, those 2 might be it.
That's a deeper question than you're like. My brain just went like wild on it. The 2 most similar tracks.
Or maybe this and Bahrain maybe are a little bit closer matched.
Yes. Yeah, Bahrain. Cool. But Bahrain doesn't have a really good S. It doesn't have
there's no S section. There's a little bit of one after you get through turn 5.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit of one.
Yeah, it's mostly
it's a baby Beckett's.
Baby, like a premature.
I'm trademarking that. If there's any F1 people watching, you can't use that on the broadcast next year. That's mine. As they go through baby Beckett's.
Baby Beckett's. Ridiculous. Right, and you've got to have an S section. Like if you're going to be similar to Coda, you've got to have a good S section. That S section is like the best on the calendar, right? Is there a better one?
Yeah,
Maggots and
the
Beckett's
Senna
has
S.
more history. It's from Brazil.
Yeah, it's got elevation change. It's not just left to right.
That's true. I want to wrap that in with.
So that one literally has all the elements, right? You've got braking, accelerating, left to right, and up and down. So you literally hit all the G. You hit the whole G spot when you go through the Senna S. You get all the G's.
Three jokes.
There's a lot of
at
jokes.
least three.
Yeah, there's a lot of jokes there. I'm not making any because this is a clean channel.
A clean channel.
It was a clean channel.
We're talking about racing here.
Yeah.
Not sex ed.
Yeah. This is the cheek clappers. This is a clean channel. That's what that stands for. CCRL, clean channel.
I was telling somebody, I was like, yeah, I do the sports casting thing. I really like doing it. You should check it out. And they're like, oh yeah. Like, oh, me and my son watch racing. Oh, well, you should come watch it out.
Oh no, they're here tonight.
We will. What's the name of the channel? Like, oh, it's Cheek Clappers. And they're like, is that a family thing?
Is that a family thing? It could be.
Yes.
Yeah.
We like racing and we like.
Yeah. You like what you like. Yep.
You like. Him had disqualified already. That's not a good start.
He's still on the grid at the start finish.
So man, Alvin Mayo's dominance looks a bit scary. Nick Nack's gonna have Johnny Damon playing rear gunner for him. And so Walrus gonna have to fight his way past Johnny Damon, which is not gonna be easy in and of itself, and then catch up to and pass Nick Nack. But I'm still intrigued by that possibility because Walrus was on the hard compound the entire sprint. So what are we looking at for tires right now?
I was just getting ready to pull it up here. A little bit of a mixed bag here. So we've got the two Alphas at the front on mediums, Walrus on hards again. And then behind him, Pontiac and Urban on mediums as well. Manson on softs. So these guys kind of mirroring the sprint a little bit. Tony Lenta in 9th on hards. Owa on softs. And then the three guys at the back of the field looking to make up some ground on softs as well.
So can we speculate here? I mean, does Walrus just feel more comfortable on the hards, or maybe he's faster on the hards? Is that possible here?
I don't know. Maybe he's just wanting to get that tire out of the way and be done with it.
Well, then why be on the hards for the sprint?
Well, I think it was a toss-up between mediums and hards for the sprint. I don't think softs would have gone the full distance. Maybe just barely.
But you got to think there's got to be some extra delta in the mediums for 10 laps.
Well, if they're going, yeah, I don't know.
No, we will find out because we are about to get the full experience here. I will be on board with Pontiac. It is Season 4, Race 2 here in Coda. And the sprint was a good one, and the 50% promises to be good as well. It is 1, 2, 3, here we go. Off the line very well again. The Alfa Romeos look solid on the front and very, very quick. Urban into 4th place. Pontiac looks solid, but he does slip back behind the Mercedes. He's fighting off Merck. A Ferrari desperate to get by. I think it's As You Were, Knick Knack from Johnny from Walrus. It's Urban who's made up a point, and Pontiac falls back one here, lap one.
Everybody made it through cleanly through turn one. A little bit of pushing and shoving, but everybody's through cleanly, and that's good, I think, for those hard tire runners. They're going to be able to start stretching their legs out here.
Yeah, I think Merck with the most solid start. He's up 2 and honestly was giving Pontiac a hard time. Might have almost been up 3. On board with Pontiac as he takes the inside line into 12, and looks like he's gonna take the place back. No, Urban holds on to all of his velocity on the outside line of 12 and keeps the place for Mercedes. The Urban and Pontiac have been mixing it up quite nicely here in COTA.
Yep, keeping it nice and clean and providing some excellent side-by-side racing.
Yeah, Urban very solid around the outside of 12. Like usually, at least there, it looked like Pontiac was going to have the turn done. But Urban keeping his speed up on the outside line. Doing well. Reimer holds on to 7th place, neither up nor down. Looking much more like where we expect him to be. Up at the front, Knick Knack half a second from Johnny, who's a full second almost from Walrus. No DRS yet. Walrus does look a bit shaky through the S's. I think he's going to lose a little bit of time here on this lap and does slip out of DRS range there.
That's going to allow Urban, I think, to get up there and start mixing it with the Aston Martin driver. If he can take advantage of the pace he's going to have on those medium tires.
Again, season to season, a lot of differences in the grid, right? Urban is going to give Walrus a hard time is not something we would have been talking about at the end of season 3. Don't you think?
Yeah, we've seen a solid progression from Urban, and now challenging for podiums week in and week out. Something that we're starting to become very accustomed to, and it's very welcomed.
Let's go Urban. Agnote is up 5 after a disastrous sprint. A great qualifying, a disastrous sprint, but here in the 50% is making his way back up the field. In fact, let's go check out Agnote because he's quite close to Linta's McLaren just ahead. There is some side-by-side action up ahead as well. Ransom and DRL mixing it up, but no change in position there.
The battle for 5th really heating up. Merck, Pontiac, and Reimer, all 3 of those guys battling for that position.
Okay, let's head up there. We'll watch from Reimer. He's got Manson and DRL behind, and ahead Merck. Oh, we've got something. A virtual safety car from somewhere. Looks
John
like
Prince.
someone, McLaren, John Prince around turn 1. May have got turned around.
Missing that front wing as well, so he's going to have to come in. Marshall's going to have to get out there and pick the pieces up. So it could take a minute.
All right, well, battles on hold. Lap 3 of 28. Walrus has slipped back a little bit outside of DRS, almost 2 seconds behind. So Knick Knack and Johnny, I mean, they can just, Alfa Romeo can just waltz away with it. And that'll be 2 weeks in a row, Alfa Romeo looking to be the dominant team.
Yeah, I wouldn't count Walrus out just yet. Still pretty early.
It's very early. He's on the harder compound to start. His racing picks back up. Still on board with Reimer. Ahead, it's Merck versus Pontiac. In fact, let's go see if there's going to be some action there. Pontiac getting the better exit out of 20. It looks safe into turn 1.
DRS coming back online very early after that VSC.
Yeah, action 9 is Linta and DRL are side by side into the S's, but it looks like I'm sorry, Tony and Ransom were side by side into the S's, and Ransom wisely giving way. Tony Linta making his way through there. Are we going to get some battling between the Alfa Romeos?
That would be welcomed.
Yeah, we've got, with DRS open, gonna take the inside line. There goes Johnny Damon into the lead now. Knick-Knack will follow through 12.
And Merck also getting the better of Pontiac Bandit there into 12 as well.
Okay.
Bongit overtaking and curveball too. So these guys are running close. They're able to get passes done with the DRS on that back straightaway.
No surprises there. But we want to see. What was I looking for? Oh, I'm so rusty. So I'm just there. It is. Thank you. Just trying to compare batteries. Knick-Knack not using any batteries whatsoever. Still 90%. Johnny Damon still above 80, but he is using a little bit of battery here in this fight. Thus far. Really surprised Walrus not falling back further on the hards.
Yeah, I think he's starting to be able to manage that gap.
Yeah, 1.8 still sticking, and you got to think, man, when he flips over to the mediums at the end of the race, he's going to be devastating to deal with.
An SP in the chat saying Knick-Knack's not even opening his DRS on this. Well, there it is.
Yeah, there it is. I'm looking like he's going to get the pass done here. So trading back and forth, Knick-Knack and Johnny Damon. Again, on the exits here. My dog snores. I hate waking him up because he's like, what did I do wrong? Just loud. So, it's good to see Alfa Romeo cleared to fight. I hope that these two continue to trade. And with Walrus just sniffing around.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing on lap 6 to have fun, run around behind your teammate. But lap 26, if they're in the same window of time here, things are going to get a little hotter, I believe.
Yeah. they're very cordially be like, after you, sir. No, after you. It's my turn for the pass. They're being great. They're being very kind to each other at the moment. You're right. Oh, Walrus, another 3-second penalty.
Walrus picking up 3 seconds, about the same time he did in the sprint, actually, I think.
Yeah, right around lap 6, I think. You might be right. Those S's, definitely a place where you can get a little bit tripped up there. Let's go DRL on Pontiac, action 7, as the Alpine opens the back flap and zooms by. Pontiac will eat a little bit of dust on this lap. DRL is through into 6th.
Very nice pass there from DRL, just getting it done nice and early. Able to take the full line there into 12.
So Agute was moving up, wasn't he? Agute, yeah, but I thought he had moved up 5 positions and now has slipped back 1 for some reason. Damon and got it. Johnny Damon and Knick-Knack again, very, very quick. Gorgeous to watch through the S's here. Will Johnny Damon be in position to take over the lead yet again? Watching for the exit now. Looks a little too far back, honestly. Yeah, we'll follow there. What other anything? I think Reimer Action 8 about to take on Pontiac. Pontiac's slipping back now a few places, at least 3 places over the past 3 laps. I'm wondering if Pontiac has some kind of damage.
Looks like everything's there.
Yeah, wings look fine as far as I can tell. Of course, Reimer is just a fast driver.
It's pretty quick.
Up into 7, yeah. Curveball and Anya continue their recovery drives, though against the fields that they're facing, it's a difficult recovery. And you know they're cursing the accidents that put them in the position they currently find themselves in. A good battle there. DRL versus Merck Action 6. A great fight going on right now.
Yeah, those two guys looked like DRL looking for the cutback there in turn 1. Didn't quite have the traction, I think, coming out to be able to put it down and go around the inside.
He held really good position through the S's, and now here on the exit of 11, looks solid, throws the overtake battery on, is going to have this position before 12. Does appear, yeah. Pontiac, man, back action 8. Oh, we've got a spin from Merck. Loses a big position. Pontiac Bandit gonna take advantage of it. It looks like side by side. No, he spins out just a touch. And Merck holds onto the position. And here goes Lenta on Reimer. Reimer is distracted by the fighting going on ahead of him.
Yeah, it was like, oh, now Lenta going off the track.
Yeah, wide around 16, and Reimer will say thank you very much. I'll have the place back.
Oh.
It looked like Pontiac and Reimer fighting each other, right? And then Merck has some trouble just ahead, and so you kind of get that, oh, I'm gonna get another pass feeling.
Yep.
And Pontiac's back end kind of stepped out on him a little bit, and then immediately Reimer's stepped out a little bit, and there goes Lenta like, oh, okay, I'm suddenly back in this race.
It was one mistake led to the next guy's mistake, led to the next guy's mistake.
Yeah, exactly. It's this cascade of issues.
Yeah.
And Lenta would have come out of it ahead, except went wide around 16, and everybody just went back to where they were before all that happened. All right. So Damon has slipped by Patty. No, I said that just a little too late. Paddywhack finding his way back into first place. So at least these two are having a legit battle, right? Keeping pace with each other.
It's back and forth.
So what is it going to come down to between these two?
Tire life.
Yeah, you gotta let me build it up a little bit, okay?
I can't. I didn't know how long that question was gonna go, so that's my fault.
I was gonna build it up. I was gonna tease it a little bit.
Yeah, I ruined it for you.
Okay.
I'll quit. I'm done.
No, you're right. Tire life. It's got to be who is wearing their tire out faster in this little back and forth beef they're having, right?
And
I
it's
think
who has spent more time behind the other, because that dirty air leaves you squabbling for traction there, and that could be what it comes down to, and that maybe that's why we're starting to see Knick-Knack wanting to get back in front of Damon on a lot of these laps.
you think you got to think Knick-Knack maybe just he's got the higher raw pace. He's leading on average more of these laps. And so it's got to be Damon whose tires are going to give way a little bit faster.
And it could be sooner than later. Look who's joined this fight back up at the front. Mr. Walrus.
Yeah, where did that come from? Oh, man. And now Damon, with his hands full, is letting Knick-Knack get outside of DRS range, and that's a big deal. Because it may have been DRS that was holding those two glued together this whole time to begin with. And Walrus just, man, slicing in here and there. Damon with his hands full just to fend off this Aston Martin. Takes the inside line very aggressively. Walrus now will take way on the outside. Leaves space for the Alfa Romeo. It's got a good exit. No, not strong enough. Damon holding on to the position for now. And Knick-Knack 2.6 seconds ahead with just this brief little back and forth between Walrus and Damon.
I would have thought the medium tire goes longer than 11 laps. It seems like a really soon time for those to be falling off.
Deg is high here, right? In Coda.
Deg is high. Yep.
Yeah, Deg's high in Coda, but man, not that high. You would think it must have been some kind of mistake. Let him in. Let Walrus into. Oh, very hard on the brakes, locking up Johnny Damon around 12. Maybe Damon's tires are, as we were just discussing, he's been in that dirty air of Knick-Knack this whole race. Maybe that Deg has been higher than we think.
Very possible. We've got some battles here in the back now for fifth as Tony Lenta gets past, or for sixth, Tony Lenta making his way past Pontiac. And the battle ensues behind him as well.
Yeah, I saw Reimer's, man. Okay, so Reimer just had a really interesting set of laps there. He stuck a nose in on Pontiac when Pontiac looked weak. Pontiac fights him off, and Reimer, out of position, ends up giving a place to the Ferrari of Merck as well. And now Pontiac is getting the pass done. No, Lenta back ahead. Pontiac past DRL. This little quartet here.
It's a knife fight between the five of these guys.
Yeah, they're all bleeding a little bit too, it seems like.
Heavens almighty.
Good little fight here. I'm just going to stick. I'm watching from Reimer forward.
So we've had our first round of stops here.
There goes Merck. Merck gets a big snap of oversteer, ends up off the track at turn 9, and is suddenly out of contention here.
Oof.
We head through 12. It's a blinking Pontiac Bandit harvesting. Also DRL harvesting. And I don't think any passing going to get done. No, on the inside line. Man, everybody locking up and still holding on. Lenta from Pontiac, from DRL, was just everybody locking up into 12. No batteries left. No rubber on the tires left either, I don't think. Oh, and Reimer's back in, letting go on the entry to 16.
Oh,
And now Weimer out of this fight as well.
man.
Brutal. Brutal little series there. Let's go back up action 3 because Walrus and Johnny Damon, they have just been. So Damon putting on a defensive clinic and doing everything he can do to give Knick-Knack the edge he needs to win this race.
Yeah, he's probably overdue for his pit stop here, but this defense may cost him second place in the Grand Prix. But it's going to allow his teammate to get some breathing room as Walrus has been losing a lot of time behind this Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, for sure. Walrus stuck now, does dive into 12, but will follow again as we see smoke rising around 12. Beautiful. Oh, a little twitchy there from Damon, but unable to take advantage of it. Walrus just not able to really get by. What are you watching?
Our final trio there for 5th place, going 3 wide into turn 12. And Tony Lenta taking the brunt there as he was squeezed by DRL and Pontiac Bandit.
You know who's quietly avoiding all that carnage is Urban, just comfortably there in 4th place.
Now he's in the pit, just kind of running his own race there in 4th.
Yeah.
He could benefit. SP in the chat wondering how big does the gap need to be for a double stack? What do you think? Like 3 seconds? They've got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they could do a double stack. If you're quick on the buttons, it's like 2.2 for a stop.
I mean, Damon stays out extra long here. Got to.
For the overcut?
Yeah, because every lap he's still, well, here we go. Looks like Walrus definitely has the pass now. So never mind. Damon into the pits. His job is done. Half the lap 14. He's held Walrus off for a very, very long time, given Knick-Knack an almost 4-second lead plus Walrus's penalty time. So you think I'd call Damon into the pits right now?
Yeah, well, maybe he's close enough to retain DRS here over the next lap, maybe 2.
Yeah.
Might leave him out until he loses that gap for DRS.
So are we going medium softs?
I don't think the soft's going to come into play unless we get a late safety car here. It's going to be a hard to medium strategy for Walrus and then medium to hards for the Alfa Romeos, I would imagine.
Okay. So why not... Well, okay, I guess we watch the gap between Walrus and Knick-Knack to decide when...
I mean, if they get these mediums to lap 18, then I guess maybe they could do a 10-lap stint on the softs. I don't think that's completely out of the question.
Yeah, there'll be low fuel. Though 10, rough.
It's going to be, those last couple laps on those softs at 10 to go would be a little hairy.
It would be hairy. But you've got leeway to play here, right? Walrus carrying around that penalty is such a big deal. With this kind of a race, it's a huge deal.
Tony Lenta and DRL back here for 5th. DRL going to go around the outside.
Man, Alpine with a nice pass. Round 12. Curveball and Agnote have been basically solidly moving back up the field, doing good recovery drives against a competitive field.
Agnote now on the back of Pontiac Bandit. He's within DRS and could be looking for a move here. He's on fresh medium tires, I believe.
Oh, we've got pitting up the front. Walrus, Damon, Linta all into the pits at the moment.
Crucially, Walrus has come out ahead of Damon, but on the harder compound once again.
No. Oh, I see. Damon is going softs for 12 laps.
12 laps.
No freaking way.
Let's see if he's if he can earn the title of the tire whisperer tonight.
Yeah, it's 12 laps in Coda, driving really hard.
But Walrus is going to get the undercut here on Knick-Knack. You got to think. He's on fresh mediums. Knick-Knack's still out on old.
Here's happening right now is why I think Johnny Damon going on the softs, even though it's going to cost him. Because I don't think it costs him. It definitely doesn't cost him a podium, even if the tires fall off. They've got too much of a lead. But now, crucially, again, ahead of and backing up Walrus. Right? Softs allowed him to grab that advantage again. Knick-Knack into the pits. Will Knick-Knack go? Knick-Knack's going softs as well. Man. Alfa Romeo with a very ballsy strategy.
And I think they're going to come out in front. They're coming down the straightaway now. He may just be able to retain, but he's going to be on soft or cold tires here.
He has his partner. Yeah, his partner holding off Walrus just behind.
Man, if they're on comms together and they worked all this out, this is going to be a tough team to beat this season.
It's deadly.
That was done to a degree in which we don't even see real Formula One teams do it in. Just the precision.
Yeah, and it could just be that, in their testing they find that the soft does work for their setups, right? For 11, 12 laps.
Yeah.
So
yep. And you're right, it could come down to the way they have the car set up too. You're very correct in that.
Yeah, but the way it's playing out, Walrus very effectively contained. And you know what? It's fun to see Walrus struggling, right? I mean, not struggling in the I'm glad he's losing, but just in the midst of a real competitive fight. That's so much more enjoyable.
This is very reminiscent of a 2021 Red Bull team versus Lewis Hamilton. You got two guys who maybe couldn't do it individually, but they're working together, and the two of them together are going to be able to outpace Walrus tonight, I think.
Yeah, and that's Walrus not doing himself any favors with struggling to keep that nose clean.
Yep.
Right? This fight takes on a completely different dynamic without that big anchor behind it. That being said, the podium has never really been in doubt. Both Alfa Romeos and Walrus, the powerhouses here in Coda. It has also been a very solid offering from Mercedes and Urban, just definitely best of the rest. And right now, Curveball with the big. Has Curveball been into the pits? Let me see that. Yeah, so Curveball has his pit stop done. He qualified amazingly well and has managed to recover from nearly the back of the grid all the way into the 5th place. Curveball also a very noteworthy evening tonight.
So we're 10 laps to go here in the race. If you're in the chat or watching along, Go ahead and we're going to open up the voting here for team of the day. I think I got a pretty good idea who everybody's going to vote for, but let us know. You know, type it in. Use your the command there up at the top of the chat. It's !vote, and then type in your team name that you're rooting for.
It's hard not to. I don't want to like.
We can't sway the votes.
sway the
Yeah, we
voting.
can't sway the votes. I know you would have everybody vote for McLaren.
I'd love so Nick Nack and Johnny. I would love just a quick message, maybe updating me on any of the team thoughts there. Are we speculating correctly, or are we building more story than is really there? Just a quick note of a DM would be great, so I could talk about it next week. And man, Walrus with no assists. Looking still like a force to be reckoned with. Let's find another fight. Maybe Merc on Ransom. Yarrow on Reimer. Reimer having just a rough evening tonight. Kind of up and down. Reimer has been this evening. Yeah, I need Guzman and Z-Milk on the grid as well. I'm very upset about Z-Milk taking a season off. I'm gonna write him an angry letter.
You should. Yeah, you should.
It's let him know how I really feel. I'm watching Merc versus Ransom, the Aston Martin, trying to fend off the Ferrari, who's just crawling all over his gearbox.
Merc's got that rear wing opened up for DRS. Is he going to send into one? Probably a little far back.
Yeah, decides to follow those apexes as well, sticks a wheel in. Pushing Ransom offline on the entry into these S's, but can he do anything with that? Solid lines for the Ferrari here.
We've got some penalties starting to roll in.
Half the grid actually sitting on penalties. Johnny, it looks like Merc gonna have the pass done here. Ransom with DRS, but still unable to hold off Merc. Merc now through and into ninth, chasing down Anya. It's lap 21 of 28. We are nearing the close of the second event here in season 4. It's been an Alfa Romeo day, it must be said.
Walrus up tucked very closely behind Johnny Damon here as they head through the S section. He's close enough to maybe be able to take advantage of DRS down into turn 12 here.
Gotta be. And it's gotta be like close to evening up between him and the softs. And there's a harvesting Alfa Romeo ahead. This looks like he's going to have a pass. Taking the outside line to the Aston Martin, well ahead into the turn. Fighting back, though, is Alfa Romeo, but cannot get the exit speed he needs. And through it is Walrus here, lap 21.
And I just saw as that pass happened, Agnote awarded a 5-second penalty for a severe collision with DRL. Both of them now back down in 11th and 12th. So a little drama further back down through the grid.
Oh, that's rough. First comes speed, Agnote, then comes consistency. I'm glad to see that speed, though.
Yep.
It's fun to see Agnote Urban up there. All right, Walrus takes over second place, 2.6 second gap though between him and Nick, and a penalty to overcome. Johnny Damon can just chill in Walrus's shadow, and you know, and just be pulled by DRS all the way to second place.
And we know we know that there's going to be, you know, that changeover where the medium's going to become faster than the soft. But you know, when is that going to come in the next 6 laps? You think?
I mean, to me, it feels like Damon and Nick Nack have a very solid game plan in mind. You have to think that ballsy call to switch over to softs must have been play tested, right? Because they're 12 laps out.
You would, I would say there's a fair deal of practice that went into that.
Yeah. So that call doesn't seem arbitrary, right? And so you've got to think, you know, they know how much pace they can get out of this, but at the same time, Walrus is gaining. I think Walrus is gaining. It was 2.2, 2.3. He's left Johnny Damon in the dust that lap. 1.2 seconds ahead now. DRS broken. Is it still through just 3 seconds?
He's still...
And has Walt...
Yeah, just 3 seconds.
Yeah, so it's still just 3 seconds, and Walrus seeming to find a second gear now. I'd be surprised if the softs is just a flat out mistake. I mean, that was my initial impulse, was to be like 12 laps on softs at Coda, driving against real talent. That seems like a stretch, but then you back off and you think, well, Nick Nack and Johnny obviously very solid drivers. They must have play tested that.
Yep.
But now Walrus, a real charge here at the end. Damon must hold on to that 3 second gap. If he loses second place after having such an advantage, right, it would be a pretty big deal.
And it looks like Nick Nack's responded here on lap 23. That gap back up to 2 and growing.
Yeah. So Nick Nack probably conserving, right? And it does look like a 2-horse race all of a sudden, because Damon just slipping outside further and further. Now 1.6 back. Fascinating into this race, right? Like, you can, whenever you can see a way where there's a sudden big upset, right? But Walrus really gonna have to, he's gonna have to push it to the limit here to make this, you know, really dangerous for Nick Nack.
Yeah, and he's not only got to get past him on track, he's then got to open up a gap. So
yeah. I mean, getting past him on track would, I mean, I'd still like to see it. Let's go Walrus.
Merck moving up a position on Pontiac for 7th position.
The midfield has had a lot of back and forth going on. Merck especially has had a pretty exciting race, I think.
Yeah, he has. Just continually moving.
Yeah.
So Walrus finding a lot of pace this lap. He's down. He's got the gap down more than half a second this lap.
Yeah. Yeah, almost 6. Yeah, you're right. Almost 6/10. It was 2.1, 2.2. Knick-Knack a little bit faster there in Sector 3, it seems.
Yeah.
Okay, but right now, the softs have got to be, like, yellow.
They got to feel like garbage.
Water.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got to be, like, starting to flash danger signals. You'd think. I'm watching from Walrus, and we've got big spread throughout the last of the field. 3 laps remain. A very fascinating finish developing between Walrus and Knick-Knack. Knick-Knack definitely in command. But our question really is, which strategy was best? And honestly, is Walrus just going to rue not keeping his nose clean? Like, is that going to be the difference? Because if Walrus can get the pass done,
yeah, he'll be kicking himself if that's the difference.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a real fight. Because you're right, Knick-Knack has responded, and most of the time the gap is remaining even between these two. Good, solid. Look, we've said this for what, 2.5 seasons now. The grid continues to evolve, and it was a very professional offering all evening from everybody, all the way downfield. I mean, gaps building slowly over time.
There's no aggressive, out of control driving. You know, it's very refined, up and down the entire grid.
Yeah, which is what's going to give rise to the real bangers this season, right? There's going to be, at some point, there's going to be the right combination of this is so and so's good race, plus the combination of the right kind of safety car and the right strategy differential to just give rise to something amazing. We're going to get a couple of those really good races this season.
I think Jeddah could be one of those.
Oh man, I think honestly, I feel like you've got, if you're interested in this grid, you need to stay tuned this season, because we're gonna get some big moments, and we've got one developing here. Walrus almost within DRS range. What a fight from Walrus. 1.2 now behind Knick-Knack.
And he's 8/10 away from clearing Damon with that penalty.
Which is huge, by the way. Damon needs, like, his engineers are yelling at him in his ear right now.
Yeah, they are.
Push. Max, push.
I think Walrus might be able to get this gap down by the detection zone in turn 11. We'll see what he's able to do here, but he's making up so much time now.
Yeah, he's gathering. He's just reeling Knick-Knack in, but it won't. I mean, obviously, he's not gonna break the gap. But I'm mostly interested to see if he can get the pass. Also impressive this evening, Irvin and Curveball. They've been great. Pontiac Bandit and Merc. Also, Anyote, Reimer had some big moments that were fun to watch. But right now, we're focused like a laser here on Walrus versus Knick-Knack. There goes Walrus underneath the DRS finally. Can he get the pass done? That is what we're hoping for.
You know, and what if he does? What if he applies pressure and gets Knick-Knack to gather a penalty? You know, it's not out of the question.
Man, and Johnny Damon slipped above 3 seconds there on that lap.
And now that Walrus has DRS, he's going to slip even further back.
Because Knick-Knack, oh, and Knick-Knack's like, or the alpha male engineers are like, just slow him down.
Back
Don't
him
let him
up.
pass you.
Back him up into Johnny.
Now look, if Knick-Knack could manage to back him up without letting him get the pass done, but you got to think Knick-Knack's just worried about his own roll. I thought a little sideways. It is the final lap, and we are coming up to the best chance for Walrus to get the pass done. Aging softs ahead. Walrus with a really good exit. There goes the overtake, though. Not much battery left. DRS flap open, and man, Knick-Knack also harvesting ahead. Will we get a send? Going through the outside, gonna do the switchback. Can he get it? He's got a wheel in through 12, through 13, forcing Knick-Knack off the line, still fighting through on the outside. Walrus does find his way through a good turn, like 3 or 4 turn battle. And Walrus sneaks through right at the end. Beautiful driving.
Wow, those guys just stuck it together through that very complex set of turns.
That was a satisfying pass. I'll tell you what.
Oh, boy. And crucially, he was very far ahead of Johnny Damon, more than he needed for sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think these two, in a bit of a league of their own here in COTA. Knick-Knack, I think strategy-wise, I think the softs may be. I feel like he might have been faster overall, but softs might be giving up the ghost there at the end if we're really getting technical with what happened.
Yep.
But man, Walrus reeled him in for man at least 10 laps, and got the pass done. And now he needs to go home and think really hard about that 3-second penalty.
Yeah. Yep. Stew on it for the next 2 weeks.
What you think? Knick-Knack retains the lead. Walrus grabs second place, and Johnny Damon unable to keep up with the battle between these two. Shed second, and will have to settle for third. Meanwhile, Urban had a solid race all night long. Curveball and Agnote both big recovery drives. So they came to win races, but had tragedy during the sprint and had to recover there. Curveball putting on a decent show of still sticking it in there. And it was Reimer, I think, with the big off night.
Yep. Yeah, I expected to see Reimer with a little bit better finish than what he had, but, you know, not every night can be your night.
Yeah, that's fair enough. An exciting finish. Hats off, Walrus. That was fun to watch. And Knick-Knack too, definitely solid. These top three were in a class of their own, and they put on a pretty good show for us, I think.
Yep.
And then we had a lot of good mix-ups.
Urban solid points in fourth.
Yeah, and I think he might have been bored.
He was by himself for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, he just ended up in this slot where he was better than the midfield, but not touching the podium racers. It just kind of ended up racing by himself. Cool moments between Merck, that five racer fight near the middle of the race.
Yeah, him, Lenta, DRL, Reimer, they were all mixing it up in there.
Oh, I love that. I feel so satisfied right
You
You
got
know
a
what I
full
mean?
Formula One belly.
Yes, exactly that.
Oh,
I apologize one more time. I apologize. I kick myself so bad for missing the first race, but I'm here and excited for season 4 to see what happens.
yep. It's we're only 2 races into it, and we've got 20 more. So we're taking a break. We're taking a break next week for Thanksgiving. So no racing. Go spend some time with your family, and then we'll be back the week after Thanksgiving. So pro tier Monday nights at 9, elite tier here again Wednesday nights at 10. We'd love to have you guys back. Team of the day votes went to Alfa Romeo. So kind of as predicted there.
Yeah, no surprises. They definitely look like the team to beat, that for sure.
Yeah.
And man, for everybody, SP, Coma, everybody participating in chat, it's fun to see you guys. I missed being around racing friends. It's good to be back.
Absolutely. Yeah, come join us again. We love having you guys. So hey, appreciate everyone who's already done so, liked, subscribed, follow us. Keep doing that. If you haven't already, it helps us bring all this awesome content to you guys week by week. So appreciate those who have. If you haven't, do it. You'll get alerts every time we go live. So we'll see you guys in a couple weeks. On behalf of CCRL and Dresden, I'm Trackside. Everybody keep living life to the checkered flag. We'll see you at Monaco in 2 weeks' time. Good night.
Night, everybody. That's a wrap. Monaco is next. I'm excited about that. Why? What? Come on, Zeno. I'm so upset. Wait. Yeah, I think that's what's going on, right? Like, yeah, the guy. And you can't fault them because there is a feeling of winning, but also with the kind of scrutiny and coverage